yourself, asshole. I'm not that stupid. Just for that, I'm gonna spend my whole childhood eating what I want and doing drugs when I want. Whatever, I do what I want.
No, wait!
Hey, what's up guys? It's the Nightwing Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today, talking about the LPL Spring Split 2020 semifinals and the playoff recap for the semifinals actually. So there's a lot of storylines going into a lot of the games in the semifinals. You have IG versus Top Esports, a rematch of the 2019 regional qualifier for these two teams. It was IG that knocked out Top Esports and made them not go to Worlds in 2019. Obviously, later on during the year, Jackie Love goes to Top Esports, and you know he's gonna want revenge on IG. The Shy and Rookie have looked pretty good all split long. IG secured first place. Top, I think, secured somewhere between 3rd through 4th, and you also have Knight, who is considerably the best mid laner in the world without having ever gone to Worlds. I don't like to put asterisks on players like that. That's just me personally, you know, but you can see he is literally extremely gifted and super strong at being a mid laner. It's very rare you see a mid laner of his caliber actually not being able to go to the international stage. And since the LPL is going to be given 4 spots at Worlds this year, I could easily see Top Esports going. But you know Top wants revenge. You know Jackie Love wants revenge for IG kicking him for Puff and Southwind. So starting off in game 1, you definitely had a lot going on in this matchup. I think personally for this match specifically, IG love playing fast paced aggression. You know they are all about their early game. If IG are not getting ahead in the early game, they are struggling. Now that's just how we know they play the game. Now, as you see the game unfold around 5 minutes in, the Shy is obviously getting dove by Karsa. They evade off the gank. Then later on, you're seeing the compositions all start to unfold. IG take Orin, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Aphelios, and Morgana. Top Esports take Aatrox, Rek'Sai, Syndra, Misfortune, and Alistar. This game was all Knight. Knight eventually during the game popped off so hard. He was literally, I think, about 9-0 during the game. IG get a kill early on with Rookie. He gets a solo kill. Then later on, Knight ends up getting a kill. Then later you have 369 getting a kill. The Shy TP's down to no avail. Obviously, they're doing a lane swap. As a lane swap in nowadays standards, you pretty much just swap laners if one side has already taken a turret. Then later on during the game, obviously Top start to get more fights going on. You have Knight extremely popping off on the Syndra, and yeah, this game is going away of Top, and IG's aggression is being literally thrown back at them. IG's big strength is them being able to be the aggressors and them having the strong solo laners to actually run you over in the early game. Now, with that being said, you have to kind of factor in that this composition does that for IG, but I think putting the Shy on Orin really does kind of hinder how strong he can be in various points of the game. As you can clearly see, IG definitely start losing early on, but it's kind of still even in gold, but Top definitely have the advantage in this game. Later on, Knight is 6-0 on the Syndra, and he is definitely incredibly strong right now moving forward. You have another team fight going the way of Top later on during the game. Knight lands a Scatter the Weak onto the Shy. It chunks him out. Knight is playing so aggressive on the Syndra. I mean, I wish I could play Syndra like Knight. But later on, IG start a Baron at 36 minutes, and I'm like, what the flying fuck? You left Dragon open, and then Dragon's getting taken by Karsa. Karsa takes the Dragon. IG just leave it open. And then they obviously know that they are pretty much falling behind. Top later on scales to a point where it's all Top Esports. Jackie Love finally getting that game 1 sweet revenge against Invictus Gaming. And then Rookie gets extremely chunked out by all of Knight's Scatters a Weak. He literally shot his load all in Rookie's face just to make him take it hard in game 1. It's all Top right here. Game 1 going the way of Top Esports, and then now you have game 2, where game 2 obviously IG want to kind of pick certain laners to really flourish against top because top know that IG wants to play aggressive. So you see certain bans like Trundle, and obviously top takes away Syndra because you don't want Rookie to have it. And then obviously you take Orianna away from Knight because Knight and Rookie are really good on these control mages. They make control mages look like burst assassins. Like, they're that good at playing the mid lane. And also later on, I think the Shy had a really underwhelming series. I mean, this is like his worst series he's had in a very long time. And remember back to like 2018 spring where he obviously cut his hand and he couldn't play against RNG. I mean, it kind of felt like he cut his hands because I don't know what he was doing in these games. In all these games, he was falling behind and losing most trades. Now, early on in this game, he obviously was winning because of the Jace versus Renekton matchup. First blood goes to Lian. On the Trundle, I think that Lian is okay. Like, he's more consistent than Ning, but Ning offers something to the roster in terms of being explosive. And since he's explosive, you obviously want to have him at certain points, or maybe Ning really wasn't that good in scrims, so they just chose to run with Lian since he was more consistent. They get the early first blood on tonight, and then later on, you have Lian trying to actually gank for the Shy, and then he ends up dying himself, and then it's literally oh my god, they fail a topside dive. You have 369 popping the Renekton ult, and then yeah, Karsa and 369 get a return 2v2 against the Shy and Lian. Yeah, this is absolutely not what IG wanted at all, because this was the game where they had the early game aggressive composition to really do what they want. They have the scaling, but in this match, I think they were playing too aggressively, too hasty, and then later on, more kills are sent to top. Later on, Knight is able to actually get a blue buff and actually out-CS Rookie, so now you have the Syndra who's ahead against the Orianna, and if she lands a Scatter the Weak, you are going to be dead. Later on, you have 369 getting more aggressive onto the Shy, but then the Shy sniffs out a gank from Karsa. Karsa later on ends up seeing Lian recall, and then he obviously pops his ultimate to obviously scare away the Lee Sin. Jackie and Yuri, what I forget his name is so killing me. Jdg is able to actually get really strong 2v2 kills against the bot lane and even gets a 2v2 onto Southwind. Yes, the IG AD carry winning the bot lane, and his support ends up getting a kill for himself as well. And then later on, the Shy ends up dying. So yeah, IG is a hot mess right now. They are getting destroyed. It's a 4,000 gold lead at that point. Later on, it gets expanded to an 8,000 gold lead. And then now, Knight, Jackie, and Karsa are all ahead. You know when Karsa gets ahead, he loves to snowball the game. Karsa's thing is the early game, so if he gets ahead in the early game, he's able to be a lot more effective and a lot more stronger. Now, looking at it from this point of view, later on, top get a Baron. It's all top esports in this game. 2-0 for top. A lot of people still predicted IG, but there was a lot of people that said top can actually overtake IG this time around because they actually have an improved jungler from last split, and they actually have an improved ADC from who they had before. Game 3, IG have to win this game. Otherwise, you are out of the playoffs. IG start off by getting a nice little composition for themselves, and in this game, they take Aatrox, Kiana, LeBlanc, Aphelios, and Nautilus, and then obviously top have Renekton, Lee Sin, Syndra, Misfortune, Alistar. Early on, you saw Jdg really making a lot of early game aggressive moves on the Alistar, which was actually pretty good, all things considered, for top, but they actually chose to run Morgana in one of the games, which wasn't really too effective, but I understand why they actually chose to pick it. But looking at this game, Lian was getting pretty decently far ahead on the Kiana jungle. You can clearly see how much of an early game impact he was actually having. Rookie had a very uncharacteristically bad series along with the Shy. It was pretty much Puff, Lian, and Southwind carrying them, which was actually pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, Rookie landed some good chains, and he landed some decent LeBlanc mimic combos, but it wasn't really enough. But in this game, all that got changed. It was a back and forth team fight, back and forth in this game. IG were just throwing the aggression, which is what they always do. Yaruja tries to land a headbutt pulverize, but later on, the Shy, it's all in the back line. Later on, the IG win a team fight. Actually, they kill Alistar, but Knight gets a return kill onto Lian. But then later on, Rookie gets that trade kill back onto Renekton. And then after this, IG are in firm control of this game, and they actually crawl it back. IG need one more to get it to that game 5. But can they actually do it? Probably not. Now, after looking at this game, you're probably thinking to yourself, IG's got it now. IG are able to actually, push themselves forward into actually winning the game. But now actually being able to perfect it the way they actually want to put their early game is the issue. Going into game 4, Top could either lose this game or they could obviously still win it. IG have the chance of making it to a game 5, obviously. And then you can clearly see in what the ban structure they were actually doing for a lot of the games. It's like you're trying to give Rookie and the Shy their early aggressive composition picks that they like. Putting Rookie on the block every single game was actually, I think, something that you didn't really want to do. He wasn't really performing well on it, but I don't really think that you shouldn't give it to him. They had decent bans all the way around, all things considered. Now, in game 4, Top take Aatrox, Lee Sin, and after this ad plays, then I'll tell you the rest of the composition. Top actually have Syndra, Ezreal, and Leona. The Shy is on Kennen, and the rest of IG's comp is Trundle, LeBlanc, Caitlyn, and Karma. Now, I actually like that they chose the Caitlyn pick because IG love their early game compositions. So taking the Caitlyn is actually insanely strong for IG, because actually Puff was pretty decently far ahead on it early on. I mean, they picked it for a reason, and it was winning, obviously, in the way they actually chose it. It was supposed to take down the Ezreal early on with her range, but the team fights were not very good from IG. Even though they had a Caitlyn, they had a LeBlanc, and they had a Kennen, the Shy was getting absolutely demolished by 369. Damn you fine. And now you gotta realize that the Shy, he was just completely just a walking bag of money. The slicing maelstroms were literally tickling people in these team fights. And yeah, Top Esports get the win over IG. They get their revenge from the 2019 regional qualifier. And now we are on to the next semifinal matchup, which is Jdg versus Fpx. You have Jdg, who beat Fun Plus Phoenix last year in spring, and people asked, why wasn't Fpx if they were so good at MSI? That's because Jdg beat them last year when they had Imp on the roster. Later on, Imp retired, but now you have a new revamped roster with the new faces, and you also have veteran players like Loken, and who can actually help them get through this point. FPX demolished EDG, so most people predicted FPX. You know me from watching our the last video, which was a live stream when me and JTH were recapping the LCK, was that I actually predicted for JDG. I was like, yeah, JDG are insanely strong. I think most people just chose FPX because they're obviously the world champions, so you want to obviously just go with them. They're a very safe bet. But remember, FPX don't exactly have the best players in all the positions. JDG have good players. They just lack in the teamwork perspective. And while FunPlus Phoenix has really good teamwork, but they lack in another area, which is having a cohesive style, because JDG like to draft early game compositions, but they can play the late game as well. They kind of like a, what's that thing that I would really call them? They're a jack of all trades is what I would really call them. So starting off in game 1, you definitely have a lot of the teams trying to go for something they know they can win off comfortability. And I shit you not, you watch this game, there is a 33-minute first blood, the longest first blood in all of the LPL season for this split. Literally, it was a 33-minute first blood. I'm not even kidding. I was watching this and going, how is FPX playing this? 33 minutes until a first blood. I'm not even kidding you. And so, JDG's composition is Gangplank, Graves, Corki, Varus, and Thresh. FPX is Mordekaiser, Lee Sin, Kassadin, Callista, and Nautilus. So looking at the compositions, I like what FPX are doing. You know Doinby likes to obviously have an impact in every stage of the game. Kassadin can be that pick, but it's not really a blind pickable champion. You have Gimgoon on something safe, which is the Mordekaiser. You have LWX and Super Hot Crisp Chicken on something that they can make early game engages on, but then later on have some late game impact as well. Then you have JDG's composition, which is Poke, skirmish heavy, and they also have a lot of engage from what they can actually do. You have the Thresh, you have the Varus, which they have their ultimates, which can literally lock people up. You have a decent engage and Poke with Corki and Graves. You have a decent composition for JDG, and I think these compositions are fine for both teams and how their strengths actually go. Now, you're thinking to yourself here, how are they at 30 minutes with no kills? Yeah, that was a rarity. I'm like, how in the world is freaking FPX not having any kills within like 5 minutes? But yeah, the first 2 kills go to JDG. They get it on the Corki, and they also get it on the Varus, which is really strong for them. Later on, it's all JDG actually. Their composition severely outscaled FPX's, and I don't know why, if they were gonna play this level of a game, you draft a Lee Sin and you draft a Nautilus. I mean, that stuff just gonna fall out of favor. Lee Sin and Callista and Mordekaiser fall off to a certain point if they are not ahead. If they are not ahead and scaling with the items that they actually need to have, it's over for them. JDG take game 1. It's looking like, oh my god, it's deja vu. Is this gonna happen again? Is JDG gonna upset FPX again in another spring split semifinals? That is just deja vu. There's no way. There's no way League has deja vu. Well, you probably thought so by watching this game. So, the next game, FPX are all obviously in a different position than they normally are. They usually always win the game 1s of their series because of the style they actually like to play. They were randomly banning out the Udyr, and I was like, okay, you're banning out Udyr, that's interesting. I personally think that looking at this series overall, I think FPX just dropped the ball against JDG. They probably didn't think they were that strong actually. Early on, Gimgoon is actually being aggressive onto Zoom, and actually pops the Renekton ultimate. Later on, they noticed that Lamau basically tries to get in range to get a gank, but obviously they see him on a ward. Gimgoon notices that, so he backs away. Did I say Lamau? It's supposed to be Lovemau. Oh my goodness. It's just really crazy to pronounce that usually. Later on, you have a skirmish at 7 minutes in, and yeah, the Nautilus gets a kill. And then it's 2 kills for JDG. Oh no, Gimgoon. Oh no. It's literally 3 kills early on for JDG. They are winning the early game over the composition and the team of FPX, who are designed for the early game. Doinby loves to play the early game. And you have the compositions of you have Renekton for FPX, you have Lee Sin, Rise, Aphelios Thresh, JDG draft Set, Trundle, Syndrome, Misfortune, Nautilus, and early on, Yagao is definitely starting to hold his own against Doinby. The issue with Doinby is that he's not really strong mechanically, but he's able to shock call his team and move them in a way that makes them really good. Now, if you pair him up against a strong opposition of a laner and he stuffs, and that better laner stuffs him, he's not going to have that early game impact, and that's what we saw in this game. Though he did play a lot of the team fights really well, it was pretty decently back and forth for this game. But later on, JDG just had the better composition. They had 4 Drakes, they got an Elder, they got a Baron, and then yeah, it is 2-0 JDG. The Misfortune ultimate was just wrecking early on. Loken was absolutely having a pop-off performance in this series. Good job, JDG. It is 2-0 JDG. They're about to destroy the defending world champions. That's how crazy China is that a team like JDG can beat the defending world champions with the exact same roster if they play it correctly. China is just crazy. Game 3. You guys are not going to believe this. This is actually pretty insane. This game started off pretty normally for what a normal game of China would actually be. You have compositions that suit both teams' strengths and weaknesses, but also have a window where it's actually a point where you could either win at late game or win if you get a certain team fight correctly. That's the story of this game. So the compositions are, for FPX, it's Gangplank, Trundle, Rise, Misfortune, Nautilus. JDG have Mordekaiser, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Aphelios, and Set support. So looking at how most of it went, FPX get first blood onto Misfortune. Obviously, you want to set up LWX and Chris for lane success. Zoom was winning the early game matchup into Gangplank. At some point he was up basically like 20 CS or some shit, and I was like, oh my god, Zoom is actually incredible. It's gonna be a treat to see JDG on the international stage. A lot of this game was pretty much dictated by skirmishes and team fights early on. FPX were trying to ward effectively. They get a few more kills. Actually, JDG had the composition of you have to make something early game happen. You have Lavmal basically trying to, ult the Nautilus, and it was not really working. Gimgoon was actually getting his team to safety with a lot of his barrel placements, and Gimgoon actually played the series pretty well. JDG win a team fight. They try to break open the base, but then later on, Yagao also gets a trade kill onto Trundle. Yagao also ends up almost dying, but ends up getting saved by his team. You have LWX using the bullet time, and then Lavmal ends up dying to the Gangplank, and yeah, it's a kill finally to the Gangplank. Later on during the game, FPX win a team fight, actually, and then now they're starting to crawl back. This is actually a really good game and shows you how strong the LPL actually is. So, later on, FPX clear out the vision around the quadrant where JDG are actually at toward their blue buff. They get a tower, they get a Baron, they're crawling it back, they're definitely crawling it back, and then they win another team fight, which definitely puts them in the driver's seat to actually win. Then right here, you actually see one of the craziest things I've seen Aphelios has done in a very, very long time. So, or actually, I've seen crazier things, but it's not really something you can clearly see after how this game actually ended. So, later on during the game, about right here, no, it's not there. Let me actually see. It's right about here. Okay, so right here in this moment, roughly, I'm trying to see where it actually is, because I want to show you this, because this is actually insane. Let me see right here. See right here. You go right here. You have FPX getting a pick. Yeah, right here. You have FPX getting a pick, which leads into something. Sorry about this, guys. I'm literally trying to show you right now. Let's see. Oh, it's all the way back here. So, toward about 29 minutes in, FPX actually start to crawl back. Okay, so they're crawling back and almost about to win until you get this moment actually right here. Okay, hold on. That is not gonna happen. Holy crap. Sorry about that. Got to take the playback speed down to normal. So let's start this all over again, and I'm gonna show you this craziness.
To look to decide this series. So even time is massive here for JDG.
There's a lot of damage that can come down from this squad as well. FPX could look to just close this one out.
No way. I mean, this team was about to lose the series. Narrative aside, FPX, they say let's go.
How many times have we said you can only make one mistake against FPX though?
Going gold and trying to delay time. Loom out in front of the turret as well. FPX find the support. Kanavi goes in for the kick and he dies as well. The flag is raised. The series not over. FPX make one fight a reality as Logan looking to come in. Low health bars. Season 10 gets one. The other, the ultimate comes through. Logan's hitting them. The Nexus exposed.
Oh my god.
This champion is ridiculous.
Are you for real? JDG, hold on by the skin of their teeth.
That was just insane. Logan on the Aphelios gets a 1v4 kills. That was insane from him. And then now, JDG upset FPX again in spring. And now you have your finals, JDG versus Top Esports. And now you have the third place match, which is FPX versus IG, a rematch of the Worlds 2019 semifinal. I know they obviously played during the split, and then you have a brand new final, JDG versus Top Esports, who we were so close to getting a rematch of the last spring split finals, which was JD versus IG, but JD's like, we have the stronger roster this time around. We are making the finals. We want to prove ourselves in China. We want to be on the international competition for Worlds when it goes around. Top Esports also are looking insanely strong. So, who do you guys have winning the LPL? JDG or Top Esports, and who are you going to pick to win the third place match, Invictus Gaming or Fun Plus Phoenix? So I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.